It's time for Expert Alert, your chance to ask questions and get answers from experts.
Well, a very good morning and thanks for joining us on Expert Alert. We're here every Thursday morning talking to the experts so that you can ask them questions and get better information on how you navigate your busy world. Today we are not live, but that doesn't mean anything. If you want to ask questions, join us on our Facebook page. You will see this running what will appear to look live on Facebook. And if you have a question, still ask the question, and our expert will have his team watching this Facebook feed so that you can still get the answers to the questions that you have. Today we are talking with Jody Entrekin from Entrekin Insurance. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm much better, thank you.
Much better. I love to hear much better. So we're talking about, this might be a shock, we're going to talk about insurance. But
Yes,
before we get started, let us be very clear, right? For all of the expert alerts, especially this one, this is just informational. It's just a general educational piece. That's all it should be seen as. This should be in no way confused or misconstrued as official legal advice, right? We're not attorneys. We're not giving you legal advice. We're not telling you how you should legally approach things. The coverage that you have with regard to insurance always depends on the specific details of your policy, your needs, the situation. The minutia of every situation changes regardless of who it is or where they're from or what's going on. So this shouldn't be seen as hard, fast legal advice. That's not what it is. We're just giving you information. We're just educating you so that you can make a better decision when you call Jody and his team to get maybe coverage for your home, your auto, things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Was that right?
That was perfectly said.
Hey, that's what we do. All right, now we can get into the good stuff. So let's talk today about auto insurance. Mm-hmm. And I see again with homeowners insurance, all of the insurances that you offer, right? Auto insurance is another one of those pieces that have so many different layers of how you can choose to cover your asset, yourself, your personal property, the people in your car. So let's start with the thing that I see the most right now. I see a lot of people doing DoorDash, Uber Eats. Like, is there a different kind of policy that they need? Can they just satisfy what they need with a personal policy, or because they drive for Uber or for Uber Eats or for DoorDash, do they need actually now a business policy?
It's both, actually. So what happens most commonly, and again, we're talking about insurance, kind of like the dirty word. No one likes it. No one looks forward to paying their insurance policy premium. You've even stated that before, right? Well, whenever you're doing something for hire, for business, that vehicle is now a commercial vehicle. So you can have a personal auto policy. Some carriers will authorize you to have an endorsement. It does cost more money added to your policy. So if you are doing Uber Eats or Pizza Hut delivery, Domino's delivery, or Walmart delivery nowadays, if you have that endorsement on your personal auto policy, it covers you. Now, if you're using it and it's just majority business, or this is what you do full time, absolutely, you need a commercial auto policy. Because here's what's happening. People are getting in accidents. As they getting in accidents, insurance companies, they're smart. Your phone tracks you, right? It knows where you're at. It knows what you're doing. So they do their investigation and they see, hey, Jody was just driving his personal truck with his personal auto policy, but he's making deliveries where he is being paid for this company. We're going to deny the claim. And it's happening. It's happening left and right now. When you are working for whomever, let's just say it's whatever delivery service, and they say, Jody, show me a copy of your insurance. The question is, do they really know what they're looking at? If they just look at your insurance card, they don't know what coverage or endorsements you have. What they need to be doing is really looking at your declaration pages and reviewing your policy, seeing if you have that coverage. But for them, they're satisfied. Once they see that piece of paper that you have valid insurance from January 1st, 2026 to June 1st, 2026, you're good. Okay, you can now do this for us. Well, if something happens, they're off the hook. because it's your responsibility as the insured. In the state of Mississippi, it is your responsibility as the insured to read and understand your policy. That is within the policy language. It is your responsibility. No one reads it. But ask your agent. Your agent, we are here to help and guide you. I'm just like you. I do not like paying high insurance costs, but I will because I know the risk factors and I want to make sure that I am covered. You know, the best advice I can give for everyone out there is truly be honest. Be honest. It's the easiest thing I can say. Here's what I face every day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a messenger right now. A lot of people are not going to like what I have to say, and that's okay. Here's the truth. Quit lying to me. Tell me the truth. If I ask you a question, it is so that I can better protect you. It is not so that I can make more money. The small endorsement to go on a personal auto policy for Uber Eats, as your example, is minuscule. But if something happens and you don't have coverage, you're the one that it hurts. Then they could turn around and they could try to sue the agent. Did the agent explain that? Well, if I don't know, I can't help you. You know, people are evasive. No one wants to tell the insurance, just like I know you didn't wake up this morning and say, oh, I can't wait to talk to the insurance guy. No one wants to tell me everything because they think, oh, this is a legal license to rob me. I've heard that a million times. Just a legal license to steal, right? It's not. We're here to help you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us. Just like this show, it's the purpose of it. We want to educate you. So to answer your question, Chet, two kinds of policies you could be forced to have. Now, when I say forced to have, you should have. But it's up to you to make the decision. My job as a licensed professional insurance agent is very simple. My job is to educate you. Once I educate you, it's up to you to make an informed decision, just like we do with our children. Teach them right. If they do wrong, there are consequences for your actions. And I do not want the consequence for you to be no coverage.
So what if I own a business and I have to have a trailer behind me, or I'm hauling something, and will my policy cover that particular the trailer?
Yes, sir. So insurance is one of those things that can be very complex, and this is another one of those examples of where be honest with your agent, tell them what they're doing. Okay, so I have my truck, and Chet's a buddy of mine, and he needs some help cutting his grass. No problem, Chet. I'm going to come over and help you because I got a zero-turn lawnmower, right? We can save time, have a cool drink afterwards, just chit-chat, good time. I'm going to help you, right? I hook up the trailer to my personal truck. I'm driving down the road. I see something, I swerve, my trailer swings and hits a car, right? It's attached to my truck. Liability insurance for my truck will follow that trailer. That's now going to cover whatever I hit, right? Also, the contents of that trailer are for personal use. I'm going to help a buddy of mine. He's not paying me. He's not, right? Let's say my mower flies out of the trailer. What covers that then? It's going to depend on the endorsements that I have added to my policy, right? Also, my homeowner's policy could cover the contents of that trailer worldwide. When it's off premises is the key term there. And it's typically at about 10% of whatever your personal property or contents coverage is. So if I have $50,000 as an example on my homeowner's insurance, it would cover $5,000 wherever else I go. So if I'm going to help my friend Chet, I have $5,000 in coverage for my lawnmower or whatever falls off. Now, if it's a business and I have personal auto policy, zero coverage. You have nothing. In your policy, you will see verbiage that states you have to tell us the truth. If you mislead or misrepresent, that can void your policy and void your claim. You know, but again, nobody reads their policy. It's up to the agent to thoroughly explain things or ask you if you have any questions. And if you don't understand, ask the questions. Let the agent tell you. You know, but I cannot stress enough, if it is a business, my advice is get a commercial insurance policy and let them know everything that you do. That way we can properly protect you. You know, because again, we have insurance for a reason. We want it to be there to protect you. You know, your deductible is how much money you are willing to pay. And I say that in air quotations. Well, none of us are willing to really pay. We want our insurance to pay for it. That's why we have it, right? That's why we have it. If you want them to pay for everything except for the deductible, be honest. Your agent will make sure you have the coverage.
And you'll have to pay for everything too, on the front end. You got to cover it.
Yes.
We just last weekend and a couple days ago we just went through Mardi Gras.
Yes, sir.
And so, what if you are an individual that pulls a float? You don't do it all year long. You don't need coverage all year long. Can you get just a specific policy just to cover you for like this amount of time, just so that you can pull that float?
Absolutely, you sure
So you can get a time-based, just a limited policy that covers everything you need just for maybe 2-week period?
Yes, sir.
What
You
does
can
that
get them
look
for
like?
a day.
Yeah.
Some carriers will give it to you for a number of hours. You know, and again, it's not expensive, right? It's not. A lot of those, you can also look into what's called event policies. You know, most of your event policies are a daily rate. You know, you can get some at a weekly rate, some monthly, some semi-annual. You know, but all of those policy types, you can get that. And you can get your personal to also cover that as well. Because remember, that is not for hire. Now, if it is, changes the ball game.
Sure.
You know, but if you're just out there and you're just towing it, yes, you can absolutely get coverage for that. And it is not expensive. It's not at all.
I mean, I remember a year or two ago, it was a parade somewhere, I don't remember where it was, somewhere on the coast, and the float came unhooked from the ball. And I don't know that it didn't hurt anybody. I think a building stopped it, but now a building stopped a massive 10,000 pound float. And so you want to make sure, and I'm sure that was hooked up the right way at first. I'm sure everything was locked the way the individual thought. Something happened. It came undone. And you always, I'm a safe driver. This will never happen to me. And it's those situations that pop up.
Absolutely.
And I've said this a couple of times. I don't. The last thing I want to do is I get an alert when my insurance is like, we're going to charge you in 3 days. Your insurance is due, and it's like, okay. But it's like I'm a safe driver. I was in an accident a few years ago. Somebody pulled out in front of me. They claimed all responsibility for it, and I was fine. Everybody was fine. Nobody got hurt. It was a bad accident, but nobody got hurt. But you can't control that. You can't control those situations. That person wasn't even paying attention, drifted out in the lane, boom. And it's like, by the time you're on 49 South doing 60 miles an hour in a Jeep, you can't really, it's hard to avoid that because you're risking turning and rolling and flipping. So you have to know, like, I can't control situations like that. But I was very thankful that I had everything I needed in place to take care of that situation because I am generally a safe driver and I don't worry about myself causing something like that. But you never know what somebody's going through, a situation they just left, a situation they're about to go into, and their mind maybe isn't thinking, but whatever the case. There's so many distractions now. Cars distract you. You know, and that is an issue into itself. But cars now hook to your phone, and there's massive screens on dashboards now. So even as safe as they are, they become distracting at times. So you just don't know. And you know, we've said it 100 times. I would much rather budget for the unknown than not be budgeted for the things that I wasn't prepared for and not be covered. Because I can assure you, in this situation, that was tens of thousands of dollars, and my insurance policy is not that monthly. It's much significantly less than that, and I was very happy. I haven't had anything in 4 years. That is, and yes, and before that I hadn't had anything in maybe 15 years. But it's like I'm terrified of the unknown because today there's so many things going on, you just don't know what's happening, and I'd rather budget myself for it now, so that way I'm covered in the end.
And I'm glad that you brought up that example. So let's talk about this example. How business insurance is important. And remember the word liability. Anytime you hear the word liability, remember 3 words: the other guy, because that's who that protects you from. If you're driving down the road with your vehicle and you have a trailer attached, okay, and it comes detached, maybe you have a hitch, okay, and the ball is attached to the hitch, but it comes off, because it happens. I had this within my agency not too long ago. A hitch came off the rear of a vehicle. That's what happened. They were hauling a boat. The boat totaled a vehicle. Who's responsible for that?
You are, if you're the one driving the boat or pulling the boat.
Well, as an insurance company, I'm going to say, how does a hitch just come off?
Who installed the hitch?
Who installed the hitch? Was it installed correctly? Was it welded? How was that weld? Well, who did this?
Yeah.
Oh, this company here did this. I can now, my insurance company, who's going to represent me, right? They're going to pay for the damages. But now they have the legal authority to go and sue, which is called subrogate, against this business, right? To get their money back. Now, let's say that this person doesn't have insurance and it hits your vehicle. Who's going to pay for that? Should you have to pay for that? Hey, what company did this? Now you can go sue that company and you can be reimbursed for your damages or have them pay for it all, because it's the just in case thing. That's why we have insurance. Sudden events, just in case, whatever. Because I don't know about you, but I don't have 50, 60, 70, or even $100,000, because, man, this could easily reach $100,000.
Yeah.
I don't have that just sitting around in my bank account.
I wish I did.
I know. I don't.
But it's not there. Look, I think the key thing to remember here is that when your insurance stops, your wallet starts, right?
Absolutely.
You can spend the least amount of money. You can make it affordable for any budget. But just remember that the least expensive policy that you can possibly get, the bare minimum, could very likely cost you a significantly larger amount of money in the end.
Yes, sir.
Right? So listen, right there, you see the information there. Entrekin Insurance, the number is 228-460-0572 or 460-0574. Is that right?
That is correct.
Either of those numbers, you can give a call. Let Jody and his team, listen, the conversation's free.
Mm-hmm.
Just call and ask questions. Set up an appointment, go in and talk with them. Let them know what your situation is, how you want to be protected, and he'll get you on the right path to the freedom of knowing that if something happens, you're not going to be out of pocket a great deal of money. At least a great deal of money to get back to normal, right?
Yes.
So give them a call. They'll get you set it.
One final comment, ladies and gentlemen, please understand, as licensed insurance agents, we're on your side too. I have to carry insurance just like you do. I understand. I feel your pain. I don't like it either. I don't want to pay these higher costs. Let's be honest with one another, because I promise you, I have to trust you just like you have to trust me, right? We are on your side. Help us, and I promise you, it will all work out in the end.
There you go. Help me help you. It was like Jerry Maguire right there. It was almost like a movie script.
Yes, sir.
Listen, thank you for joining us this week on Expert Alert. We'll be right back here next Thursday with the next edition of Expert Alert. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for Expert Alert. We'll feature more experts at the same time next Thursday.